Hi, this is Team with Motorcycling, and I'm back with another video for you today. I've been requested to talk about mid-ranges. I'm not really sure where to start with this, so I figured I would start with a what, a when, and a which to talk about this. What is a mid-range? When do you use a mid-range? And which one is the most suitable for you? That last one is a little bit hard to answer, but I'm going to try. I apologize for the barking dogs around me. I am still in my neighborhood, at the park in my neighborhood, so therefore it's going to be a little annoying, and I apologize for that. So first of all, what is a mid-range? Well, a mid-range used to be called a multi-purpose disc. When Innova first came out with the rock, you can see on here, they actually wrote multi-purpose on their disc. And since then, it has become what's known as the mid-range. So a mid-range is generally a little bit wider than most other discs. Sometimes the mid-range can be, this one is probably the widest mid-range I've ever held. This is the Comet here, and I can show you right here what I mean. Let me actually put it next to a different colored disc for you so you can see what I'm talking about. And a mid-range generally has a more dull edge, but you can see how big this is. Right here, you can see the orange rim around it, and I have this thing flat against each other, and you can see if I turn it this way, this orange disc is now dwarf the green disc, and you can see the rim right around it, so it can get fairly wide. The mid-range edge is much more dull than a driver. I don't have a putter with me to show you, but the edge of a mid-range is not as dull as a putter. And generally, a mid-range is within speeds of 3 to 4 to a 5 or 6. So between 3 and 6. Anything less than 3 is considered a putter. Anything more than a 6 is considered a fairway driver. So that's generally what a mid-range is. Sometimes, in my opinion, if it's a speed 5, is the maximum for mid-range. Anything from 6 and up is a fairway driver. All right, so with that being said, what is the purpose of a mid-range? Like, when would you use it? Well, you use it when you can't throw your putter as far and when your driver will fly past the basket. So that's why it's considered best suited for your mid-range game. So for example, if you have the ability to throw your putter 100 feet on an upshot, and you need something to go an extra 50 feet, you would disc up to a mid-range. If you can throw a driver to 200 feet, 250 feet, but you don't need something to go that far, you would disc down to a mid-range. What's nice about the mid-range is that because it has a dull edge, it won't fly as fast as a putter. You can actually upshot with a mid-range, and you won't necessarily risk the disc skipping or rolling as much away from the basket or going past the basket compared to a driver. And the same can be said about driving with a mid-range. You can actually tee off with a mid-range because the edge is sharp enough to break through the wind to go much farther than you think. So if your skill level increases as you play disc golf, you can certainly throw a mid-range off the tee. And it's one of those discs, and the reason why it's called multi-purpose is you can actually play around with just a mid-range. You can putt with it, you can tee off with it, you can do upshots with it, which is a very nice characteristic of a mid-range. I've used this mid-ranges to drive off the tee, so my ability is that I can throw a mid-range up to 200 feet, sometimes 230 feet, depending on the hole, depending on my day. I have putt with a mid-range before, so like for instance this KC Pro plastic, if you get it in the right plastic, DX plastic, it will grip onto the chains, so you can putt with this. They are maneuverable if you get the right disc. It can be maneuverable to putt with it. You can also even do, the one thing that I find hard to do with the mid-range is throwing a tomahawk with it, and I think it's because the edge of it is not as sharp as a driver. So for it to break through the wind and fly the characteristics of a tomahawk, for it to dive towards the basket, it can be a little difficult. I think it's because of the bevel edge. Now I could be wrong, but that's in my experience. The one thing I also find a little difficult to throw with a mid-range is a spike hyzer. So if you have a shot that's dogleg left or dogleg right, trying to spike hyzer this disc can be a little difficult, and I think again it goes back to because it has a dull edge compared to a driver. So those are the scenarios when you use a mid-range. It's really a versatile disc. If you think a fairway driver is a versatile disc, I don't think so. I think it's hard to do an upshot with a fairway driver or just a driver in general. I think it's much easier to do an upshot with a mid-range. It's even easier to throw off the tee with a mid-range, in my opinion. And putting is not as easy as with a putter, but it will do the job just fine for you. All right, I've talked about the what, I've talked about the when. Now let's talk about the which. This is going to be a little difficult. Which putter for you is going to depend on which one of these rims will fit in your hand the best. And in order to do that, I would recommend you getting a flagship disc from the manufacturer. So if you don't have a lot of money, completely understand, then you should look at the flagship mid-range of that manufacturer. So if you like the way Prodigy discs feel, then I would go out and get their flagship mid-range and just buy one and try that and see how that flies. And when I say flagship, I mean talking about in the middle mid-range. Don't get the one that's overstable, don't get the one that's understable, get the one that's in the middle. If you're a new player, the middle one would work, or an understable mid-range would work, because it will teach you if your throwing technique is off and your throwing angle, your release points are off. It will teach you that. So if you get an understable mid-range or a stable mid-range, it will tell you that. If you get an overstable, you will be just frustrated rather than actually enjoying throwing a mid-range, because I think a mid-range is the most enjoyable disc to throw. All right. So with that being said, I'll give you an example. Discraft's flagship mid-range is a Buzz. Innova's flagship mid-range is a Rock. Prodigy, I believe, is the M2 or M3, depending on how stable you want your disc. Let's see, Dynamic Disc would be their Truth. They have quite a number of discs now. Fugitive, the Truth. I can't think of the third mid-range they have, but they're flagship. Those are the flagship, some examples of flagship mid-ranges. So they're popular ones, the ones that most new players and even pros will have in their bag. The pros will beat them in, it'll turn over for them, and a new player would actually can just pick up one of the mid-ranges and just throw it and learn from it. So I think that's how you would find which disc is best for you. So if you don't have a lot of money and you want to try Discraft, I would just buy the Buzz and just try that and call it a day. The Buzz is one of those mid-ranges that I've used that I can put it on any line and it'll stay on that line out of the box. Now, different manufacturers will make the same thing. So if you go to a different manufacturer that's not Discraft, let's say you go to Innova, they will have their Rocks in different versions of it, because they have to create different versions of mid-ranges to cover different shots selections. So keep that in mind. All right, now I'm going to show you some of the shots from a mid-range, how I throw my mid-ranges. I will tell you a little bit about myself before I throw them so you get an idea of what skill set I have. I throw a putter about 150 feet, sometimes 200 feet. I throw a mid-range about 200 to 250, and I can throw a fairway driver probably 270, 280, and a long distance driver 300 to 300 feet, depending on how much practice I've gotten. So I'm going to show you what some of the putters, some of the mid-ranges, how they fly for you. I will tell you which one is understable, which one is stable, which one is overstable. And then that way will give you an idea of what these putters will fly like, so that you can go out and make an informed decision, hopefully. So yeah, that's my skill set. If anyone who's in that similar skill set, that is what you're gonna be looking for. If you are able to throw farther than me, that means you put more torque on the disc than I can. Therefore, your disc is gonna fly a little bit more understable than the disc that I'm showing you today. If your skill set is, if you throw a lot less than me, a lot shorter distance than me, then your disc might fly a little bit overstable, but it should be similar to how these discs fly. Let's go take a look. Something I wanted to add before I go through these discs in selecting your mid-range is that if you don't have money, I explained to you to buy the flagship disc. If you have a little bit more money, you can buy 1 or 2 discs at a time, and there's a store by you. I would recommend you go into the store and hold it, or a friend or someone on the course that you just meet, ask them to just hold the disc And the reason why I say this is because when you take the disc, the rims are all dull, right? But they are different. They have different groove and how much angle there are on the beveled edge and how much indentation, and then there's the bead on this one right here, and the same thing goes for this disc as well. The reason why I say this, when you go up, when you hold the disc like this, if you have to keep fidgeting and moving your hand when you get up to the tee box or to your lie, and you keep having to do this and fixing it, and you feel like this thumb is slipping off the edge or something, and you have to keep having to fix it, it's not a very comfortable hold. And if that is the case, then what happens is you're going to have to keep focusing on fixing this grip every time you walk up to the tee, and now you can't focus on your shot and your line. So I would recommend, so like right here, my thumb, my hands is too small or something, I don't know, but my thumb, I feel like I don't have a grip because it keeps falling off. So then I'm gonna go to the breeze or something, okay? And you can see now, it just, I don't feel like it's falling off. I can just hold it and it stays, just like that. And if I need something a little bit more stable than this breeze right here, I hold the buzz, and this is, I feel great on the buzz. See, now my finger's not falling off. And I feel like this is a grip that I don't have to mess with and fidget with when I get to the tee box or my lie, and I can just concentrate on my shot. So that's how you should decide whether the Midrange or just any disc is good for you, because it fits well in your hand. You don't have to fight with it. All right, let's go see how these discs fly. All right, got myself set up now for some shots. I'm gonna throw my most understable mid-range first, and I'll go up the stability to most stable, I mean. This is a pearl. It's 155 grams. It's really only comes in that kind of weight because it's really for weak arms like mine, because I needed a turnover mid-range, and this was the best I could find, and it works fairly well. So let me show you. I'm going to throw it on a flat shot like this, and it should turn over like this for me. And depending on how much torque you put on it is how quickly it will turn over. I'm a right-handed, backhanded thrower. So here we go. Okay, so you can see that turned over. All right, the next is going to be the Breeze by Discraft. Not a lot of people have heard about this, but it is a pretty understable disc. So again, all of these I'm going to throw it flat, and you'll see how understable they technically are. And you see that one just stayed flat, and it's going to finish towards the end there. Next is the Meteor. I don't think this is as understable as a Breeze or a Pearl. But it stayed pretty flat, and it glided pretty far. So next is the Comet, also considered another understable to stable disc from Discraft. And that also stayed flat, but finished a little bit harder than the Meteor. All right, so we're moving up to a more stable disc. So a Buzz would be a stable disc for me. And I'll throw it flat again. Next is the last mid-range in my bag that's not a rock is the Shockwave. It's a little bit more stable than the ones I just threw. And we'll see how it flies. I actually lift the nose up on that disc a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit more stable, but you can see how it finished to the left pretty hard. All right, so that's pretty much all of my mid-ranges that I often use. So what we're gonna do is, I do have 3 more to show you, but I want to talk a little bit about, you can use these for sidearms. I've used them for up shots, sidearm shots. I've used them off the tee, sidearms. So these can be used for sidearms. That's how versatile they are. You can use them sidearm, backhand. You can, I mean, I know I said tomahawk was hard for me, but you can use it as a tomahawk. You can use it as a thumber. You can use it pretty much any shot you want. That's how versatile these discs are. Lastly, I want to show you with these three. These are the different rocks that they're not all-inclusive. Of course, I only have three here. I have a KC Pro, I have a San Marino, which I think is less stable than a KC Pro, and then I have a Rock 3. I just want to show you guys how these fly, and then we'll call it a day. All right, here we go. First up is the San Marino. That's still kind of stable for me. All right, we'll go with a KC Pro Rock. I don't really know these discs very well, so I will give you that disclaimer, is I don't know the rocks very well. This is just what I've been told. And that one is beat up, but it still finishes to the left. And last is the Rock 3. I will tell you though, a nice breeze picked up as soon as I threw that Rock 3. So, but I do find it to be a little bit less stable than the KC Pro or the San Marino for some reason. All right, that's here with motorcycling, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave it down below, comment section. That's all I have for about mid-ranges. I really have nothing else to say. Just enjoy yourself, and I think mid-ranges are great discs to have. If I were to choose two discs to play on the field, it would be a Buzz and my putter, which right now is a Magnet. All right, this is He with Motorcycling. Any questions or comments, email me or put it down below, and then I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.